Welcome back to the show, everybody. Let's take a look at the numbers as we run the headlines this morning. SEC's claiming jurisdiction over Ethereum, ladies and gentlemen. Say it isn't so. We got the CFTC and Ripple in the news. BG on XRP being a security. We got a case update for you you're going to want to know about. USTreasury, the UN, and Ron Hammond's talking today. And we're also going to talk about 3-4-digit XRP. And what about $1? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. $972 billion market cap, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we are. Download that Coin Paprika app. It is 19,100 plus for Bitcoin, 1,300 plus for Ethereum right now. XRP holding that number 7 spot at 39 cents this morning. Come on in. Yeah, we're up 10.94% on the 24-hour and 13.84% on the 7-day. We'll keep an eye on it, as you know. But I want to tell you about this. Look, if you're hearing my voice, most of us have in common that we're trying to empower our own lives. Isn't it? We're trying to get wealthy. We're trying to get our time back. That's certainly what my goal is. And I'm not ashamed to say it. You shouldn't be either. One of the best ways to do that is to invest in private equity, because companies are staying private longer before having some kind of a public exit. You can invest in link2.com right here. And by the way, I want to let you know, and I do not know how long it's for, Ripple minimum has been changed from 10,000 to 5,000. But you have to click the link underneath this video to get it. Make sure you do that, because I tell you, and if you're not accredited, check to see how far away you are from it. I know that if you're hearing my voice, you're a millionaire next door, or you soon will be. So make sure you check out all the information, and let's be forward thinking about where we're going, because Link2 is democratizing finance, and that's what it's all about, bringing it to the people. Hey, ETH crowd, welcome to the party. The SEC claims all Ethereum falls under U.S. jurisdiction. Uh-oh. That's a college term. Yeah, maybe even a legal term. Yikes caramba, right? Look, this seems like it's going to be one of those clawbacks. Now, whether it gets a fine and a no action letter is another matter, but we shall see. But this, to me, is extremely exciting. Next stop on my learning tour was visiting Ripple Labs, says Caroline Pham from the Commodities Future Trade Commission. Well, isn't that remarkable? Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I had tweeted to this here, and I'll show you. I can't find it right this second, but I will just tell it to you. You know, this is what regulation should look like, especially when we understand a company like Ripple Labs has worked so tirelessly to be so transparent, which we've learned through this court case, obviously, that the SEC is the biggest hypocrite of all, because they have not. Right? Hinman emails, where they at? But here, Caroline Pham follows up and says here, a few days ago on the 14th, regulators should be a part of the solution. What a refreshing perspective. Long live American innovation. Maybe we do have a chance to be a leader in this fourth industrial revolution. An absolute pleasure to welcome you to our office, Commissioner Pham. Public-private engagement from Brad Garlinghouse right there. And I tell you, this is the way it should work. Not this, come on in and come see us, and then we bonk you over the head and then turn around and tell you we're going to sue you after you give us all the stuff. And then we tell you, we don't want to tell you why we're suing you. We're just going to say you're a security and won't show you how you can get your way out of the web that they've created here. And speaking of the web, this reminded me, this whole come see Ripple Labs from CFTC, of the Axis interview that took place. And I want you to hear what Brad Garlinghouse said about XRP being looked at or ruled upon as a security. Take a listen.
That lawsuit, I think, is misguided. I think the idea that XRP is a security, it has traded out there for 8 years. it's kind of like, well, if it was a security, I guess we should have known that a long time ago.
So is your basic defense, you let us trade it for years and thus gives these backsies? Is that basically your response?
No. I mean, look, if you own a security, it gives you ownership of a company, right? If Ripple goes away, XRP is going to keep trading. Many countries around the world, the UK, Japan, Switzerland, Singapore, they all have clarity and certainty that XRP is not a security.
And there you have it. And that's where we're at here in the U.S., as we all know. Update on the case very quickly here. Shout out to Jim for all he does for all of us. He doesn't have to do a thing. And I'm so grateful for him, Attorney Hogan, John Deaton, of course, and so many others that chime in and help us all understand what's happening. The parties have filed a request that any motion by third parties to seal portions of the parties' summary judgment filings be filed subject to court date September 12, 2022 order. But listen here, specifically, this means that 1, any motions to seal by third parties would be due by December 9th, 2022. And 2, any oppositions to those motions would be due by December 22nd, 2022. So if you haven't gotten a feel of it here, Sherry lays it down. Both parties get to file their oppositions next month. The scheduled filings still get to happen. So here you see, this is what is coming up in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. October 18th, parties file all materials related to opposition to summary judgment motions temporarily under seal, including briefs. It says here, counter statements and supporting exhibits. October 20th, 2022, parties meet and confer to identify redactions sought by each side to the opposition brief. October 24th, parties file public redacted versions of the opposition briefs, making only those provisional redactions requested by parties during the meet and confer. November 15th of this year, parties file summary judgment reply briefs temporarily under seal. November 17th, parties meet and confer to identify redactions sought by each side to reply briefs. And then on the 21st of this year, parties file public redacted versions of reply briefs, making only those provisional redactions requested by parties during the meet and confer. December 9th, parties filed the omnibus motions to seal all materials related to the summary judgment motions, which were mentioned just a moment ago. And the 22nd of this year, parties filed oppositions to the omnibus motions. There you have it. So grateful for Jim and everyone else, and Sherry included there in that information. Now, this is a reminder that while this case is going on, the U.S. government and the rest of the world is taking action. Don't believe it. It's still true. The U.S. government is creating an action plan to address how cryptocurrencies might be used in illicit finance. Now, this is a narrative that's been going on for years, but it's not all they're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. If you go into this thing here, you can see clearly, and I'm just going to give you a couple parts of this, the growing use of digital assets, financial activity, heightened risk of crimes such as money laundering, terrorists, proliferation financing, fraud, theft schemes, corruption. Notice said the illicit activities highlight the need for ongoing scrutiny of the use of digital assets, the extent to which that the technological innovation may impact such activities, and exploration of opportunities to mitigate these risks through regulation, supervision, public-private engagement, oversight, and law enforcement. You know, it goes on to talk about here U.S. leadership in the global financial system, supporting affordable financial services and boosting responsible development of digital assets. It's not just about illicit financing, which they make a big deal of, as they rightfully so, anything, right? But nothing's being used more for illicit transactions than paper cash, that we know, right? This is a reminder from Ron Hammond right here. Shout out to him as well. The House Ag Dems hearing on crypto as a tool for financial inclusion has now been delayed due to votes being scheduled around the same time. Will be rescheduled to another day this month, it says, or day and month. However, the Financial Services Committee hearing on alternative payments today with Joni Levine and A. Redboard is still a go. So if we get anything from that, we will certainly share that with you as well. Now, going global, pulling out of the U.S., the UN says crypto is a threat to developing nations. Uh-oh, watch out, El Salvador. They made Bitcoin legal tender, and that's certainly a crypto, right? This you know, the UN is not fond of crypto, and we know the IMF has really shot across the bow of El Salvador and other places that look to or have moved to make Bitcoin legal tender. And I saw a tweet the other day, and I shared it. It said the Lightning Network use of Bitcoin and trading that cryptocurrency was down like 90+%. So let's not confuse crypto as a broad brush for everything. I certainly believe we keep our eyes peeled because there's a reason XRP's in this case. And there is a possibility that we may slingshot to the front of the line and be the only asset with true clarity not too long from now. It looks like going into 2023 will be the answer. And if we get clarity, what does it look like? Let's think of this for a moment. You're talking about XRP's real purpose here to work as a complement between the highly regulated money that already exists backed by governments of this world. Now, I played a clip the other day where Caroline Pham says this. Take a listen. It's only 1 minute that you need to hear.
That should, because of these innovations in digital assets in particular, if there really is a movement towards certain stable coins, for example, payment stable coins that are not, clearly they're not digital fiat because that would be a CBDC. Mm-hmm. And they're also not tokenized commercial bank money. And so if there's ambiguity over that regulation and over what those stable coins might be, people are really worried that that's going to be a movement away from the US dollars, the world's reserve currency. And that is a national security issue for the United States, as well as a deeply monetary policy issue as well. So that's just one example. But of course, if you have other things, if you have innovation, if you have capital investment, if you have talent, all moving offshore,
it'll come back.
That people see as a concern as well. And you've seen that with other.
It'll come back, don't worry.
Sectors that have moved offshore that can put the U.S. at a competitive disadvantage. It can be detrimental, to our standing in the world. And I think from COVID, you've seen some issues when you've had, we've got a lack of onshoring facilities. And so this is really, I think, things that people are thinking about, and it's things that people are concerned about. And I think there are also concerns about what does it mean, again, from a geopolitical perspective, if should another currency arise as the world's reserve currency, or if there's a non-state currency, so to speak, that becomes a world's reserve. That's another thing that I think people are very concerned about.
There you have it right there from Caroline Pham, and that may be just as much a learning experience as her visit to Ripple Labs, as much as it may be her understanding of what the ultimate role and destination of an asset like XRP is, which is non-state backed, ladies and gentlemen. And if it is, and it does serve as a bridge and a complement, as it is designed to, and not a threat to the rest of the government dollars of the world, what would it need to be? A note of some sort? Security or not? Tim Howard goes on about this, and let's talk about this for a second. Great thoughts, Tim. If XRP is a note but not a national currency of any country, is it not then already highly regulated by the individual laws of every country it is used in and sitting in an ideal position to just run in the system after settlement? It's a great question. Is the whole point of this to give XRP a note designation so it fits perfectly into the individual international finance laws? And then imagine XRP being the only token with this crystal clear international designation. It's quite a thought and quite a question, which means a settlement will do the trick very nicely. But I keep asking the question, how do you keep a non-state backed note or virtual currency like XRP in check while it complements regulated fiat dollars? Think of it, when you transfer that money for that 3 to 4 seconds of exposure, we need that accountability and that legal clarification to understand who's accountable, who's responsible, and all of those things while you're using it as a bridge, right? Certainly, it won't be unregulated while fiat money is regulated. Now, will it? Isn't that what made world leaders mad about Libra's white paper? They wanted to use a bunch of fiat government-backed dollars to then create a new money in a basket and use that to represent a value of a Libra coin. And the world said, oh, hell no. In fact, the world leaders said, oh, hell no. Pretty important. I happen to feel that whether we come down to a settlement or this thing goes to distance, we're going to need some kind of heavily regulated decisions made for the use of something like XRP. How else would you be able to really keep a leash, per se, a regulatory or legal leash on this non-state backed money where it doesn't threaten the rest of the world and their dollars? By the way, you know, we're going to look at some TA for XRP very quickly here. And when we do, I want to keep this in mind. You know, by the way, Oz Crypto's got a video out on a new summary judgment. You should check it out. Quick question. If XRP is designed for government central banks, not for retail, and it may be for retail, we don't yet know this, right? Why do they all allow us XRP holders to get rich with 3-4 digit XRP prices, which have not happened yet, right? And then somebody obviously here didn't like that. I think they recently blocked because I gave a sensible answer. But what is said here is that someone had said here, the mysterious goal had said that, you know, forget, live in the moment, you know, don't worry about these hype YouTubers. Well, let's back up a second. Okay. Where did all of this come from? Okay, because all of this doesn't come from YouTubers. YouTubers talk about it. I certainly talk about it, and I believe it can happen. But the reason I talk about it is because of where the information came from to begin with. David Schwartz has said in the past that it needs to be a high price in order to function for its real, true intended use case. Paraphrasing, Arthur Brito said XRP was designed for $10,000 and to be able to be used by the whole world. Brad Garlinghouse said years ago that XRP was looked at by the creators as a world reserve currency. So the next time you think YouTubers are hypey, just remember where we got it from. The only difference is I never stopped believing that Ripple and XRP will meet all of their individual goals. XRP at the very end of a wedge, says Crypto Bull 2020. If you take a look at it right here, this is it. What'll happen? I happen to feel like if there's no real fundamental news, it'll be more sideways motion or fall over in price because you'll see a sell-off. That's not financial advice from me, him, or anyone else. Eggrag Crypto says rocket time will be inevitable. And basically looking at that wedge from Crypto Bull 2020, or whether you look at this here where you see the sideways movement, they're seeing here the potential, I think, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but potential here, I believe, to really go in with the fundamental news. If we do get a settlement, or if this does go into 2023, which I think is certainly a strong possibility as well, you know, then what we're really looking at is fundamental news from this case, and what it would be after that, whether it's 50 cents or $1 plus or $25, $15, I have no idea. But what I am here for is to ultimately see XRP in its real use, intended use, which is in the financial system. And I've never been more fascinated to follow something in my life. That is for sure. That's going to do it for me. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Check out all the links underneath the video. Great products, specials, and deals, but you got to click the links to get them. I'll catch all of you on the next one.